Part 6. The resident doctor received me and took me to his room at once. He said to me, "Doctor, I wanted to speak to you before you saw the patient. I am afraid that his mind is unhinged by shock. It seems that he and his son were crossing a busy street. The son was in the middle of the road and his father slightly behind when a car came at high speed at them. The son was directly in the line of the car. It seemed the father could have saved his son if only he had some presence of mind or courage to drag back his son from the line of the speeding car. But the man had stood paralyzed, unable to lift a little finger to help his son. The son was crushed to death immediately. The man had fainted as he saw his son being crushed to death. They brought the man here immediately. He recovered consciousness only half an hour back. Since then, except for asking for you, he has been screaming and sobbing, calling himself a coward and a murderer. Can you tell me anything about the patient's tendencies, since you are his doctor?" I heard the doctor in anguish. I told him Das history. Then I went and saw him. It was a horrible sight. He was still screaming and sobbing. At the sight of me, suffering seemed to have reached breaking point. He screamed and snored. It was touch and go with his life. He was mentally and physically finished. He had nothing to live for, but he fought hard to recover. None cling to life so tenaciously as cowards. After 2 months, he was discharged from the hospital. But though he was now physically normal, mentally he was still sick. The hunted look on his face had become pronounced that there was a dull, hopeless light in his eyes. He looked a wreck of 60, though he was only 30 years old. His face had seemed to have gone old with misery. He was always moody and brooding. By now, I was interested in him not only as a doctor but as a friend also. I pitied him, so I made him stay with me because more than anything, he had to be properly looked after. Otherwise, the jester was not far away. I tried my best to put heart into him, but he did not seem to wish to get well. He was always thinking about his wife, his son, and his cowardice. I knew that unless I could break him into giving up his brooding, his brain might be affected. One day I took him out for a long walk. He needed exercise badly. He walked along with me listlessly, and I had many assiduously learned stories to tell him, showing that no man is really courageous. It was dusk when we turned back. We were walking by a railway line. Our thoughts were interrupted by the drumming, pounding noise of a train in the distance. It was hidden from our view by a curve in the railroad. Das jumped instinctively as far away from the lines as possible. I kept on walking by the lines. Part 7. Then, as the train turned the corner and flooded the lines in front of us with bright light, I saw a sight which set every nerve in my body tingling with fear. Just 20 yards in front of us on the lines lay a woman and a child. The woman lay as though in a faint, and the child was crying and clinging to her. I am as courageous as any mortal. My profession drives away, as a rule, a sense of fear, yet I stood there, petrified with fear, rooted to the spot, unable to lift a little finger to avert the impending disaster. I was subconsciously telling myself that it was impossible anyway to save them. I forced my eyes shut so as not to witness the impending tragedy. I quickly opened my eyes as I heard a thundering noise close by me. Das was running to where the woman and the child lay. I rubbed my eyes, but there was Das running frantically towards the woman and the child. The train was now almost on them. The next moment, he has pushed the woman and the child away from the track, and then I closed my eyes. The train had run over both his legs. He lay there dying. It was only a matter of minutes. The train had stopped and all the passengers were around us. He opened his eyes and looked at me. I did it. I did it, doctor, he muttered feebly. I nodded my head mutely. Why were the woman and child there, doctor? His words came with difficulty. The woman seems to be in the extreme states of starvation. She probably fainted on the lines or wanted to commit suicide. Make over my money to her. The talking exhausted him. He asked, I am dying. Am I not, doctor? I nodded mutely. Part 8. He smiled. The hunted look had disappeared from his face. Doctor, I am content to die. I go to my Maker with a clean slate. Thank you. With that he died. I alone understood his last words. Some women in the group around us sobbed and said, What a courageous man. The doctor had finished. There was a hushed silence. The major and hug his hand, struggling to hide a tear or two.